that 4 years in a row he done lost to Michigan?
And he lost to the worst Michigan team. Like, what are we doing?
We got our guest backstage, ladies and gentlemen. He has been waiting patiently. I know he was having some device issues. This brother is practically family because he's been part of the show since its inception a decade ago, guys. Because when you hear that drop, that true sounds drop, the original Flex Zone theme, this brother created it, wrote it, and of course, executed it for you. The lead writer and manager of the growing entertainment brand DAR Sports and Media. True God is an acclaimed artist specializing in hip-hop and soul music, engaging in the sports and media field, running the DAR Sports social media feeds. The Bowman website has several podcasts, and he was formerly a part of AEW Music. I gotta get the whole story. Dre told me about it, and I was like, what? Really? Okay. This brother is indeed somebody who is family, but he is joining us. It's been a while, but it's good to see the brother again. The acclaimed artist, the writer, the brand manager, and the man who makes you feel. When you hear that true sounds drop, you know it's going to be a banger. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only.
My brothers, I'm on my phone right now. Let me know if y'all can hear me good. I'm on my phone. I ain't on my laptop, so.
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you just fine, man.
All right, cool. What's good, brothers, man? What's going on, man? Hey, man, I'm living, man. I'm living. It's been a year for sure. It's been a year. I wasn't gonna mention the AEW stuff, but then Dre reached out to me. He's like, "We want to talk about it," and I was like, "All right." Like, I don't know what y'all relationships is.
Did Tony make you sign an NDA like he's making everyone else do?
He would never make me sign one. I would never sign one. I'm from Baltimore, short. You already know. You can't make me sign no NDA. We have an issue. We definitely got an issue. You know what I'm saying? They still owe me royalties for doing. Everybody know Commander on AEW. I was on his team, so I got paid early on, but residuals, royalties, synchronization fee, I didn't get any of that. And there's a fight that I'm in right now, kind of trying to get artists paid. And I heard they're making a change eventually to pay, 25 to 50% of the royalties on songs as a result of me kind of going public. And I've been been in the eye of the fire with AEW for a minute, for the last year or so. So it's been a thing. I'm trying to figure out how much I can really talk about, because you know what I'm saying, like, there's brands out there that they've been sending to kind of lie on my name, talk bad about me, do some crazy shit, and like, I'm not gonna go away. So we started the DAR Sports and Media brand this year, you know what I'm saying, and we've grown, like, we doing like 10,000 views a week on our articles.
Wow.
I'm writing articles that I got, and it's like, they didn't realize that everything they said about me or was trying to put out there about me was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong, and it's a lie. You gotta if you're gonna talk about me, make it make sense. Don't send people to lie on me. Don't send brands that are connected to you to lie on me, make up stuff. Like, I heard people say some crazy stuff, and it's like, at the end of the day, people who know me, I known y'all brothers for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I seen Dre. I used to see Dre in the club all the time. He was drunk and all that. I would see Dre. He drunk in the club all the time. But like, I know y'all brothers, and people. And I was funny. Shout out to my brother Apollo. Y'all been on here with me too before. And I was just talking to him actually a little early today, and he's just like, "Hey, if you go on there, tell the truth about what happened with the situation." And I worked with them for almost 3 years, and you don't realize that a lot of artists in this game, once you work with a company that is run by a billionaire that has so much power, it's a bunch of yes men that work for them. And I'm not a yes man. I've never been a yes man. So I was cool with everybody, shout out. I give him shout out to Will Washington. You know what I'm saying? That was my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know this. His first day in AEW was the last AEW Dynamite in Baltimore, and we picked him up. I picked him up from the airport. But me and Apollo picked him up from the airport when he got in town. I never put that out there before, but it's like, I knew what he was doing before he did it. So like, that was my guy. I don't think we're friends anymore, because his loyalties to the guy signing his check. So that's cool. Like, I ain't mad about that. But that was my dude.
Tony brainwashed him?
No, I won't even say that. I just think, you know what I'm saying? Like we brothers, yo. Like, we from a certain place. we come from a certain. Everybody not built like that. Like everybody don't have, you know what I'm saying? And he was always a different guy. And we've had conversations. Like I said, I know a lot of stuff that I can't say. Well, I could say, but I'm not gonna say it just because off the strength. Like I said, I still got love for dude. It's just we were really close at one point. And to me, you know what I'm saying? Like that was my guy. Like when they came to DC like a year ago, and he, you know, hit me up and he was like, "Y'all got the tickets," and you know, pulled up on me, and like we was cool. And I was cool with a lot of people in the company. Shout out to Ricky Starks, who free my man Ricky Starks. You know what I'm saying? They doing my dog file, and that's my man. I did a remix to his theme song about a year and a half ago. It's on YouTube somewhere. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I got a lot of people that I was cool with over there in AEW, but it's over with now. You know what I'm saying? Our relationship, I would never work with them again. You know what I'm saying? I will I will say this though. They definitely didn't like the fact I was backstage at Wale Mania and working media at Wale Mania. They didn't expect to see me there. You run into people. I ran into Will at Wale Mania. I was like, "Hey, what's up, brother?" And he looked like he seen a ghost. I'm like, y'all thought I wasn't gonna be here? Like y'all thought y'all took me out the game? Like I'm everywhere. I'm connected. I got people everywhere. Like so, I got friends in WWE. I have friends in TNA. One of my best friend in wrestling works for TNA. So I have people and connections I can get where I need to get. But I just know for a fact, like I said, they did some real sucker shit, but also the artists that worked on the project. I don't know if y'all remember this. There was a project called Who We Are, right? And it was Black History Month project that came out February 2022. I did me and Apollo did Lee Moriarty's song Tiger Stylin', which is on the AEW Fight Forever video game soundtrack. And I did a song with Mega Ran and a couple other people, Anthony Agogo. And so when that came out, the joint we did that I produced and wrote and everything, they played it once when Lee Moriarty fought Bryan Danielson. And I was like, that's a big moment for me because I'm a huge Bryan Danielson fan. My man Lee out there fighting. And that was a moment. And then they announced a concert for the album and we weren't on the concert. They didn't even ask us. And the funny part is I brought the idea up in a group chat 2 months prior. Like, yo, we should do a concert for this album and do something like a pay-per-view at Revolution. That's the next one. I'm like, yo, this would be a great idea. They did it and they never invited us. And people online was like, yo, this song is on television today on the same day you announced it. Why wouldn't a guy who's on television and when they used to have AEW Dark, they played the song and people was like, yo, this is fire. This is fire. This is fire. And then when the album came out, they said, oh, we're going to put it on streaming, but there's a sample issue. I was like, I made this beat. It's no samples in it. It sounds a little too similar to this beat. So we need you to make a new beat or we're going to take it off. I was like, all right, I'll make a new beat. How long I got? You got 12 to 24 hours. I made the beat in like 30 seconds, like 30 minutes and sent it over. I said, here, y'all not taking me off of this project. Like, I see what y'all trying to do. Like, okay, I see. And they was like, no, it's a sample. I'm like, I heard the sample. What you said, it sound like, it don't sound the same. Like, producers make beat. We hear producers all the time that make beats that sound similar. And people use similar drums and similar like backgrounds, but it wasn't the same. And so I felt like when that happened, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I see what y'all trying to do. And then I ain't worked with them. Like, we had an issue over the video game because they was putting people up there to like, the business works where people put you where they feel you supposed to be versus where your talent is supposed to have you. And if you don't play ball with them, you know, like I got invited to little events and little things like, hey man, you want to come here? I'm like, nah, I'm cool, bro. Cause I don't know what y'all doing. You know, in this day and age, you don't know what they be doing at these parties when you go to these parties, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we already seen Puffy and them. I don't know what they're doing.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I know wrestling ain't exactly the same, but I know a lot. I know a lot that I can't say it. I'm like,
no,
it ain't that far off.
We just had this conversation yesterday. Me and Byron, we had this conversation yesterday about what happens at particular parties. But I'm not even going to ask you about that. I'm not even going to ask you about that.
I don't even go on all that. I just know I seen some things, I heard some things, and I was like, I'm good, bro. I'm a family man. I don't want no parts of none of that. I got my daughter. I got my circle. I'm cool. And at the end of the day, and I said this, the only reason why I did the AEW project was because I knew the song was going to be good enough to make it to television. And I wanted to sit with my daughter and say, hey, and I got videos on my Facebook. I got most of y'all on my Drea and I got y'all on my Facebook. And it's like, I put a video of my daughter on there when she was listening to the song while it played. And then when Commander's theme hit television, we sat and watched it. So she can go to school and be like, my dad got songs on television. My dad got songs on this. I did that for her. I wasn't getting a whole lot of money up front. I was waiting on the residual back end money. And then once some of that hit, I was like, okay, well, where's the rest? This is a quarterly thing. This is not like, oh, we give you a little money and we keep the rest. Because I wasn't getting paid through like ASCAP BMI. And I thought that was weird. I was getting paid directly through the company. And if everybody knows how music synchronization and all that works, you get paid through your publishing. You don't get paid through the company. So me getting a little money, I was like, that don't make sense. And, like I said, I got a lot of friends over there, but as you see, they got their own set of problems right now. You know what I'm saying? They got their own set of problems. So
yeah, we watch them burn every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But my question is, how did you get started with them? That's the question.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? My history in wrestling goes back way far. So I was working with a company in North Carolina called Premier Wrestling Experience, PWX, which is where Hangman Page, got his start. I was helping book some of their stuff, and I basically got on through a podcast. We do a podcast called Wrestling Heads Radio. It was based out of LA, but they brought me on because I used to call in back when Blog Talk Radio was like popping. So I used to call in and just talk crazy about like John Cena and Rock and be like, yo, Rock shitting on John Cena, like Rock shitting on, and they would be like, yo, people listening to this and going crazy, like we gotta bring you on. And then the owner of PWX at the time in North Carolina, he was like, hey man, I got Cedric Alexander here, I got this guy here. He's like, I'm listening to you on this pod. I want to start a brand with you. I want to help promote and sponsor WrestleCade. I want you to be there to kind of interview everybody. And a lot of guys came through PWX, you know what I'm saying? Hangman Page, Kevin Owens, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy was there, the Young Bucks, everybody. I met everybody back then. And I was like the right-hand man to the owner of the company at the time. And as it would happen, once you in North Carolina, you're in the South, you start going to these places where you see a lot of like swastikas tattoos and you know what I'm saying? You see a lot of like Confederate flags. And I was like, y'all cool? like y'all cool? Like, and I started getting in the little, confrontations and stuff with some of the fans because they would be saying shit. And I mean, just for me, you're not, I don't care where we at. Like, you keep it like cool, or this shit gonna get different. And that's what used to happen. So after that, I built relationships up to the point where I started doing some like theme music work with Ring of Honor in like 2016, 2017. So I had these relationships built in with people that were working for the company when it first started, when AEW first started. And people were like, yo, man, like, you should look into try to, work with AEW. And I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll go to the first Dynamite, you know what I'm saying? It was in DC. I'll go to Full Gear because it's in Baltimore. Like, I'll go. But, like, we'll see. Like, I had sour experiences of working with Ring of Honor, had an issue with them and how they pay. And I had an issue with, PWX because I wasn't, like you're booking stuff. But because I'm the only black person, you feel me, that's, like, backstage and doing stuff, there's the white guy on the side that's like, I want the credit for this promo tonight. Even though you could sit there with the wrestlers and eat Bojangles in the back and tell them like, yo, I think it'd be a good idea if you did this tonight. And he's like, that's a good idea. And then somebody else come in and take the idea. So there's always been a thing for me. And then when AEW got started, I was like, eh. And then two people hit them up and was like, yo, I want you to work with AEW. And then like 5 or 10 people on social media was like, yo, you got to work with True. Y'all have to work with True. I think the music director, Mikey Records, was like, who are some new artists or some artists that are dope we could work with? And they were like, yo, absolutely work with him. Like, absolutely work with him. And so he hit me up and he was like, bro, I heard your music. It's great. I said, I know. And he's like, oh. He's like, confident. I said, brother, I've been doing this for a long time. Like, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. And he's like, I like your attitude. I said, you like it now. I know how this goes. You like it now until you can't utilize, you know what I'm saying? So we talked and he was like, Brandy Rose was still in AEW at the time.
Okay.
And so I asked that something about Cody because I want rocking with Cody. So, when Cody was getting booed and everybody was shit on, I was like, I think I tweeted, I'm like, man, this nigga suck, man. Cody out there getting booed, he trash. And I got like a phone call like, you can't tweet stuff like that. You gonna work with us? And I was like, bro, I'm a fan too. I do media. So people are waiting for me to have these opinions and talk. Like the way we can get on here and talk, I was doing that at the time. So I was like, I'm not stopping that for this. I was like, unless we talking some nice change. I say, if not, then we ain't gotta work together. I was like, cool. Like, I'm not pressed to do that. And then he's like, no, I'll work it out. And then I think Cody had Cody had an issue about that, and I was like, man, I'm just talking shit. Like I don't know the nigga, I don't know him like that. Like we cool, like it's cool. Like I'm just talking shit. I'm having my opinion on his character. I think his character sucks. It's like 10,000 other people booing him right now, so I'm not the only person saying that. And they were like, you got an interesting way of looking at things. I'm like, bro, I'm just putting an opinion out there. Like y'all not gonna silence me from saying what I want to say about what I'm watching. And that turned into this whole thing where Randy Rose was like, I need a new theme. They asked me if I knew any women in the Baltimore, DC, like DMV area that do songs. And I said, I know a couple artists. And they were like, could you ghostwrite it and put it together? And I was like, yeah, like, I guess.
Not hesitant with it.
Yeah, I was just like, because my first thing was like, if I'm working with you, I don't want to be a ghostwriter because like I get no type of nothing off of it. Like, and then the amount of money they were talking about, I was like, nah, that's not enough. You asked me to ghostwrite a song for a woman that's gonna be on television, and y'all offering pennies. I was like, nah, bro. Like, I need at least this. Y'all can do this. And he was like, okay, we can do that. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, the fact y'all lowballed me, and I said y'all could at least do this. We can work that out. And I was like, okay, cool. And then that turned into they decided to go a different route because I'm pretty sure people accepted the lower amount. The other people accepted the lower amount. And as we know, Randy Rose really never heard that theme anyway. So I was kind of right to be kind of hesitant on that. And then I almost dropped out of making the album. And I got to mention this. This is my sister. I came up with her. Tony Khan was disrespecting Big Swole. That is my dog. I've known her since 2013, 2014. And he was talking about how she wasn't good. And like I've even said, I told her personally, like I think you need to improve on your craft. But she also has Crohn's disease. And she's just going through her last surgery now. So for him to talk down on somebody who I know personally that had Crohn's disease and was like going through health problems this entire time, I was like, bro, I don't like this nigga already. Like, you can't talk. It's like family to me. Like, we rode up the road together when she was just dating Cedric Alexander before they got married, all that stuff. So I felt the type of way, and I said, but you know what? This is business. I put it to the side, and then that's kind of how like it was always a rocky relationship because the stuff that people see now, I saw then. So people talking about, oh, they doing this with Ricky Starks. They doing this with Penta. They doing this with Ray Phoenix.
Well, we saw it too. We saw it too.
So once you see that, like, I'm seeing it behind the scenes and I'm telling people like, bro, I know how they present themselves in the public and like, we're being trolled all the time and people are being mean to us. And I'm like, bro, y'all doing some slick shit behind the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a lot of shit. And like I said, I know we all have similar relationships with people, especially people that wrestling stuff in these spaces. And I try not to go too hard on them because I don't want to mess up people that I know and their relationships. Like, I don't want to mess your relationship up, so I'll keep it cool. But there was a lot of stuff that I saw, and it was just, it's just, the business is the business. But I feel like for Tony Khan will overpay for wrestlers so they don't go to WWE. But the independent artists that he's worked with that have made countless themes for him, he will not take care of you in the proper way. But he will buy 50 many men for the guns to come out. And that's a hefty price you're paying for that. He'll buy a Guns N' Roses or ZZ Top song or whoever for his wrestlers that it's his friends and they're cool with him. So that's where I realized, like, that's funny. But like, that's where it's funny because I just felt like, I'm like, hey, bro, like, I know y'all not used to nobody like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm West Baltimore through and through. I'm a little different. You can't just tell me to shut up and I'm gonna shut up. You can't tell me to be quiet. And like, they sent me some, I really should say, but they sent me what my friends call hush money. They sent me hush money because I know secrets. And they was like, hush. And I said, that ain't enough. And that's where the problem started. I was like, that ain't enough. Like, that ain't enough. So, but this is what they do. Like, there are media people who get paid from AEW to say positive things, which is no different than any company.
We know.
Fightful.
Yeah.
We know. Oh, we know.
We can
call
Dave Meltzer.
We know. Oh, we watch it every week, too. We watch it. Oh, I know.
Yo, I got friends that work at Fightful. I got one friend that works at Fightful, and I got some ops that work at Fightful too. But I will say this: I met Sean Ross Sapp at Wally Mania, and he was a good dude. He was solid with me. He showed me love, and he knew who I was. He knew who I was, I think. And same thing with the girl Denise that used to be with Fightful. I think she left, started her own thing. They were nice to me. Their opinions.
Are they overly positive, true? Because they like to be very positive, even though everything's great. We're so great. Our ratings are in the toilet, but we're great, and we got so many great dream matches.
So it's funny because they were. It's like super nice. And I was like, man, I know when people leave, y'all be probably talking mad shit about them behind their back, but when you see it in their face, they do that. But Sapp was cool. Like I've had conversations privately with him and talking to him. Like we don't have no issues, but I think the media knows that you can't be real, right? Like I think that's what it is. They know you can't be real in media and make it to a certain level. And that's why for what we're doing with the DAR Sports and Media is like we want to create our own lane to where we can preserve culture for us, not just for them, for us, because we're talking a lot of nostalgic stuff, a lot of stuff that involves Black culture, because that's important to us. It's always been important to us. That's what we do. And I realized that when I started doing that, I was getting wrestling fans who were like, "Oh, that's racist. You only talking about pro-Black stuff or positive Black stuff." I said, "Well, we Black. What are we supposed to talk about? Like, I could write an article about Kenny Omega. I could write about Bryan Danielson. That's cool. But you're gonna also get in the midst of that. We did like a story chronicling the Black Panthers and talking about Malcolm X and talking about like you're gonna get this knowledge and get this work with the other stuff you come for. Because if we want to give substance in the message, and if we can't do that without wrestling fans feeling a way, then we don't want to work with in that avenue. Like it's cool for the NBA to come out there and wear their catchy slogans when a tragedy happens. But if you actually give some authenticity that's not controlled by certain people in the media, controlled by billionaires that don't look like us, that becomes a problem. I ain't never been scared of nothing. Like I faced way tougher shit growing up in the city than some billionaires with some money. Like you can't even. That's why I like that AEW shit was like you can't put nothing on my jacket because I've been through a lot worse. And for people who know me, they know what I've gone through. I've been going through it this year because of some of this stuff. But it's like I made it through. I persevered, and at the end of the day, like as long as my daughter loved me, I could care less what wrestling fans anybody else think because that's what matters at the end of the day. Like I'm something that God loved, and I'm loved by my daughter. That's it. And when wrestling fans and wrestling people get that, that's what matters, and they worry about, oh, we didn't get a 5-star rating for these matches. Who cares? Like why do you care about that? Like, oh, Dave Meltzer said, okay, I don't give a fuck what Meltzer said.
Yeah,
I got issues with Meltzer. We've gone back and forth online because I'm like, bro, is this all you do? Like you straight eating right now. Come on, bro. Like that's not. It's so much in wrestling that pissed me off that I've gone into like shout out to my brother Apollo. He has his own thing, Shock Sports too. And we've been hustling, man. We've been hustling. We've been at games and he's been at tournaments and he was in Vegas for Summer League. Like we hustling because
oh dang, I probably just missed him, man.
Yeah, we was out there. We was out there heavy. We was out there. He doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. I'm I'm no longer in the in Baltimore anymore, but you know what I'm saying? I'm doing it in the Midwest right now. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at right now. And like I'm going to the Cincinnati and Grambling State game because that's a HBCU going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati a ranked team. So I'm gonna be there in a media capacity. Like we hustling, we working. You can't slow us down just because a wrestling company you ain't nobody. They know you ain't even nobody in the NFL. Your team stink right now. like the Jaguars trash rap. like the Jets just like I thought that was a wrap, and y'all couldn't even do that. So it's like I look at and it's funny that picture right there. That is what it is. Like Tony he is 100%. This is his Rock'em Sock'em Robots. This is WWE ring, and he wants to be what Vince was. And I think people don't understand that. I mean, I won't say everything that Vince was, but you know what I'm saying? But like he wants that acclaim. He wants that love because this is a rich kid. A rich kid. You know what I'm saying? Like people get mad when you say that. Like, oh, he's worked hard. I'm like, has he? Like, if my pops was worth $50 billion, I wouldn't even, I ain't gonna lie. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, Bronny went to the league, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna take like 50 million. I'm gonna just go travel the world, give me a couple girls, take them with me. Like, if I'm your age, I don't even want to be in the league. Like, you did that for me, Dad. You did that for me. I ain't doing nothing. But because Tony Khan's father has so much resources, his son wanted to buy a wrestling company and create one. And it was like anybody could have done it. Really, if you rich and you got the capital and you know people, you can do it. There's a lot of billionaires who wanted to do what he did, but he just had the right connections. And when you have the right connections, I use that term. That's a loaded word. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You got the right connections. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had nothing bad to say about some of the people over there in AEW, but I don't want to go too much because I'm saying you can talk about WWE. I rock a lot of WWE shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially recently. You know what I'm saying? And I'm into it because I wasn't watching wrestling the last year like that up until I went to WrestleMania and seeing The Rock live. That was like the first time I've ever seen Rock live, like wrestle. So getting to see that tag team match in Philly.
Really? That was your first time?
Yeah, it was my first time. I haven't seen The Rock.
Oh yeah, I seen
wrestle live.
So I'll take it back. I was like a real young kid. And it was The Rock and I want to say Little Brown versus Vince McMahon and Stone Cold on the Monday Night Raw. But I was a kid, and it was at the Baltimore arena. It was still the Baltimore arena, and I saw, but like he wasn't a Rock. He wasn't a Rock then. He was Rocky Maivia. Like he wasn't who he is now. So you see him come out with that final boss. You know what I'm saying? The final boss entrance to get to come out. Like that was, to me, that was like a bucket list thing. I'd never gone to an actual WrestleMania. I've been to WrestleMania. Had the one in New Jersey before. I went to that. You know what I'm saying? And
hey, true.
I was like, oh, yeah.
You going in and out. Like,
hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you give us some good knowledge right now, man. We want to hear everything.
You say something, Cavante?
Am I still in and out?
Oh, that's say something again.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound better.
Hold on. Are we good?
Yeah.
You're good now. Your microphone was breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, it's my headphones, man. That's what I was trying to do to my laptop. My laptop being stupid today, and it wasn't connecting to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So
what was it? A PC?
I was like, yeah. So I was like, all right.
PCs,
so I was like, all right, whatever. Hey, man, look, man, I make it work with what I can, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We hustling over here. You know, I got tablets, but the tablet is slow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm old. I'm so old school. Like, I miss the days where you could get like the Nokia phone and the Motorola phone, and you could just make it work. Now you gotta get a new phone every year. I just got a new phone like 2 weeks ago, so I'm getting used to it and adjusted to having a new phone because I had the same phone for like 4 years, and I'm cheap. I'm frugal. I'm cheap. I'm like, I don't spend nothing on nothing but my daughter. That's it. My daughter get whatever she want when it comes to me. Everything else, I'm cheap. I'm even cheap with women, which might explain a lot, but like, you know, I'm cheap. I'm cheap. And you know what I'm saying? Like, Chili's got the triple dipper. You trying to go down the Black Swan. I'm not doing that. Like, I don't even know if I like you like that. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, we can go to Chili. You know, I'm like, I got a homegirl, she's a bartender, and she'll be like, yo, just come to my restaurant. I got you. I got you. The drinks is on me. I got you. I'm like, bet. I'm gonna do that. So I'm like cheap in general. So I got a new phone, and I've been trying to get all these devices synced and hustle and work at the same time. So it's been a lot, but yeah, no, like I said, I got to do WrestleMania this past year. I'm trying to work on getting to Vegas for WrestleMania this coming year too. Gotta, you know, and I'm actually trying to be in the media room. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy. I don't know if I know him like that, but my guy Seahawk, who's pretty popular on Twitter. He writes for The Ringer. I think y'all like cool like Brian Waters, who also works for The Ringer as well. You know, that's home team. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. Like, you know, Seahawks my guy. He was my connect when I got to Wally Mania. And that was an experience. Like I said, I didn't pay for my WrestleMania tickets, so that was it like I got it, like that was an experience. But I told somebody, I said it's only because I got the AEW problems, because AEW ain't never offered me no damn free tickets in years. Like they ain't never offered me that. They say, "Oh, you got problems with AEW?" Triple H probably was like, "Yo, give my man some tickets. Go and get us some tickets." I'm like, all right, I told him, I said, I will say this. I was talking to somebody about potentially doing music for WWE, and I found out a secret about how they do. I can't do it because Def Rebel, I know Def Rebel trash. Everybody hate Def Rebel, but Def Rebel's in a 360 deal, and I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, they give you can't even write your own lyrics for their stuff. They get people to write it for you. You perform it. They give you like $500 and that's it. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Wow.
They like I already had my stuff on television. It would be cool to get, but everything I rap or perform comes from me. I'm not spitting nobody else stuff. So, so yeah, like there's been talks, and I would love to do something with WWE, even if it's just working, WrestleMania media and being in the media room. Like I'd love to do that, and that's kind of what we're working towards now. I did media for AEW like twice already, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because kind of to what y'all said about people being super positive, it's all of that in the media room. Like it's all of that in the media room. Everybody's just like, hey Tony, you got a lot of people online talking bad about you. I mean, you're just a good guy. Why are they saying these things? And I'm like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? Like this is in the media. We're in the media. Like we're supposed to ask tough questions. Like, there was some stuff about Chris Jericho that people were kind of curious about, and they kind of like, brushed it under, and nobody mentioned it. There were some couple allegations against some other wrestlers that happened, and nobody mentioned anything about it. And I was like, if this was the WWE scrum, they're gonna mention that the first question. So like, why are we keeping the same energy? And like I said, they got some great wrestlers over there, but their product has taken a dive. Their position and how people see them has taken a dive. And I think the veil about that company has dropped. And I've said this on my own podcast, but I haven't really said this on any other podcast I've been on. But I'm with fam. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it a buck. And I think people need to know that everything is not what you think it is when it comes to that company. And when people think about what billionaires do and how billionaires are, these people are used to yes men. And nobody in that company has any power over Tony. And they never will. And so if you want to go to the source like, oh, it's Will Washington's fault because of this, or it's Pat Buck's fault, or it's this person's fault. They got rid of Jimmy Jacobs because it was his fault. And it's like, how much you gonna blame?
Scapegoats.
You know what I'm saying? You blaming everybody else. But
you like my guy JD.
Yeah, like, yeah, you said JD?
Yes, you sound like my guy JD.
Was it yeah, so yeah, NY 206, right? Something like that. Yeah. Me and him don't see eye to eye. That's just because
I don't know why. Yeah, y'all seem to see eye on this.
So we see eye to eye on AEW criticism. I'm just not a fan of, like, he's just too loud. Like, he be too loud. Like, and I think he was on a stream once, and I was like, damn, bro, like, can you just tone it down? Like, damn, bro, like, I got headphones in, and you loud as shit. Like, I need you to chill. And
he be ready to have a heart attack, man.
Yeah, like, because I think with wrestling, it's not that serious, man. Like, that's my thing. Like, it's not that serious. Like, whatever we got going on in this wrestling business, it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a business. I think wrestlers take it so seriously, and the people that run the companies take it so serious because it's their business, and I get that. But like, it's not that deep. If you're getting criticized, your product's getting criticized, these are the fan base. It's your fan base that's watching your television program, that's paying money to go to your shows. If they're not liking something, then as a owner, you got to say, what can we do to get better? What can we do to get the fans excited? Not blame the fans or blame people for people like, oh, they're putting out these narratives about the company. Like, bruh, I've been around y'all. I know what y'all do. Like, it's not what people think. So when that happens, it makes me look at the company like, hey, man, you know, it was cool. Like I said, I got to have my song, you know, in a video game. Like, I got to have my song on television, you know, but like, I've also had music in other television shows, miniseries, and the movies, on Amazon Prime, Netflix. Like, I've done a lot. So to have
that under my belt, it just adds to the resume. And I think people thought that when I had problems, that I was going to come crawling back to them and be like, let's work this out. No, I just want money that you owe me and you owe everybody else that also don't get paid. Like I'm okay with sacrificing myself in this business because if it helps the other artists, I'm not selfish like that. Like I'm gonna find ways to get money and find ways to survive. I've always done that. You know what I'm saying? But when you owe somebody something, just pay them.
Right.
You gave Okada like $5 million. I can't get 5 stacks. Like, I can't get my 5. Like I can't get that. Like that's crazy. Like the song Commander song was on television every single week.
Oh no, we watch him every week and ask why the hell is he on TV? Who asked for this? Rent a Lucha. Who asked for this?
It's funny. I ride with Commander. That's my guy though. Commander, my guy, man. That's my guy, man. I ride with Commander. I think, look, I'm a Lucha fan, so that's my guy, and I can't say nothing about him. He was a big supporter of me behind the scenes when I was going through my stuff with them, so I would never say nothing bad about Commander.
No, great wrestler. Just no one cares. No one cares.
That's true.
It's no story. It's no feeling. It's no emotion. Like it puts me to sleep, literally.
Yeah, he went to sleep one time on the stream watching.
Well, I mean, AEW right now with their products, they do put people to sleep. The storylines don't be there. They don't get you invested, and they flip flop worse than Vince McMahon with WWF, man.
It's true. It's very true. I did like the Tony Storm thing that they did like last year. I like little stuff like that just because I thought Tony Storm and Mariah they were telling a story that you don't typically see in AEW. AEW is pretty much just wrestling, and the Elite basically telling stories. The Elite basically just tells all the stories. You don't really, and John Moxley, that's it. So I like seeing the women get their stories. Like Mercedes Moné, I mean, I just like looking at her. So I ain't gonna hold you. Like I like.
I think we all do.
Like,
but what story is she telling right now?
I don't really know. I haven't really paid attention.
She's fat and happy. She don't care about story.
Yeah, she don't care about none of that. She's getting her bread. She got bread. You know what I'm saying? I sent her a DM. It hasn't been answered yet, but it's cool. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, y'all gonna be in DC. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in the area right now, but I mean, I could fly there. You know what I'm saying? You want, we're gonna go out get some. You divorced. She put that out. She divorced. I ain't gonna lie. The moment she did that, I really did send a DM. Like, I was like, hey, I do Commander thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got talent. I did Lee Moriarty shit. You know what I'm saying? You need something, but I was really trying to get on her theme when she was coming to AEW. I was really trying to get on theme.
CEO.
Yeah, I was trying to get. I like it at first when I heard it. I heard it before everybody else did. Somebody said to me, and I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, all right. I'm like, that's what she want to do. She could do her little dance. That's her story. She come out there, she do a little dance. She do a little fake money dance, whatever it is, and she just look good. She can wrestle. Like at the end of the day, the story stuck. But when she wrestled, typically, unless she wrestling Britt Baker, typically she have a good match. She typically have a good match. So I appreciate Mercedes.
Man, we just want her to come back to WWE at this point, man. It's not working with AEW.
She will. Absolutely. Most people you see that left WWE and went to AEW, typically they're gonna go back. It's just they got a bigger bag from Tony.
Right.
Because Tony, yeah.
Let me ask you this then. Since you mentioned that, we've seen like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk do it. Were you around during the times when they both decided to make the jump back? Yeah. I was accused by a couple people in WrestleMania being in Punk's camp during that time. That's not necessarily true. I have friends that are close to Punk. And when he was going through his stuff with the Elite and behind the scenes, I knew a lot of his side of it. And I was told by people that worked at AEW, like, oh, you taking his side. And I'm like, hey, man, you talk, you come in my locker room talking shit. Like, I might slap shit out you too. Like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand why he felt the way he felt. And there was a lot of sabotage going on when he came back. And I knew for a fact that he wanted to go back. Certain conversations I heard, where people were like, yo, if he can get out of that AEW contract, he going back to WWE. With the Cody thing, it's funny because when the Cody thing, I gotta tell you, when the Cody thing happened, I was not shocked because that's when I first started working with the company. Like around that same time, like I said, the Brandy Rose thing they were coming with. And then I started hearing people say, we're not putting this. There was a Brandy Rhodes song that was supposed to be on the Who We Are album that came out in February 2022, and they took it off. I think they put it back on in streaming, but they took it off. And I remember getting a phone call like, yeah, we're taking the Brandy Rhodes song off. And I was like, what does that mean? And then I found out like 2 weeks later, like, oh, he's done. He's gone. And I was like, yo, good thing I do that theme. All right, cool. Like, all right, cool. And then when I found out, like I said, I can't say the reasons that I've heard why he left because it's not as simple as he just want to go back to WWE. I think he did want to go back regardless, but there was a lot of stuff that I heard, and I felt like that was the first domino to learning what this company like. He's an EVP. He's one of the founders of the company. Like one of the people who was right there. Like the first, like him, Kenny, and the Bucks. That was it. They brought Jericho and everybody, like, but he was the first. And I think he saw things from a business perspective, and he felt like these guys ain't about the same business that I am. You know, Cody is a worker. Like, I'm not a big fan of his, but he's a worker. Like, he shows up for every event. Like, he's basically like how John Cena was in 06, 07 for WWE now. But he was that for AEW. If they needed him for if they had like reality shows, he did a reality show because he saw that if I can bring in fans from a different, as they call it a casual fan, he's like, we can do something with this. He had a mission and they didn't see the vision. And because of that, when it came time to re-up, he was like, you know what? I can go back and present myself a lot better. And I think he clearly made the right decision. Like, you know what I'm saying? You had a lot of WrestleMania back to back champion now. You got everybody buying your merchandise. You got people like, it worked out. And with Punk, I knew Punk was going to go back before Brawl Out happened. Before that Brawl Out stuff happened, I knew he wanted to go back because I knew what was happening behind the scenes. There was a lot of division in the company in summer of 2022. And I would hear about it and I'd be like, okay. And then people were like, yo, Punk's not happy. And I was like, well, he just came back. He had his foot injury. He came back like a couple months later. I was like, he just came back. And he's like, it's not good, bro. People tell me like, it's not good, bro. It's not good. And I'm like, really? And then I was in the theater watching All Out. I was at Towson watching All Out in the movie theater. And I got a notification on my phone and he was doing the press conference and he was going off while I'm leaving. And now my man called me and he was like, I told you, yo. I told you it's bad. People ain't want to. And I was like, I ain't know it's this bad. And then 2 seconds later, 2 of my guys in the media text me and say, yo, they're fighting back here. And I'm like, oh, niggas squabbling? They squabbling? Yeah, I wanted and I'm thinking it's like somebody else. He like, no, it's Punk and the Bucks. Ain't no real fight. To me, ain't no real fight. Like, ain't no blood gonna be really shed. Like, they ain't gonna really fight. I mean, these two, Punk think he's tougher than what he is personally, and I know that from personal experience of just talking to people around him. But I mean, he definitely won that one. So I think I knew that was happening, and I knew that he went to Raw in 2023 while he was suspended and recovering from injury, and he wanted to be fired. He wanted to go, and when he got back and they did Collision, he hated that idea. I can tell you, he hated it. I think he said it in interviews, or maybe he hasn't really said it because I think he's under.
He did. He said it.
But I remember he hated that idea. Like before Collision existed, like I heard about it like 3 months before it happened, and two people in his camp were like, "Dude, he hates this shit. He wants to work with them." He's like, "Think of all the money we could make, like what he doing with Seth and what he doing with Drew right now. What he did with Drew and he doing with Seth. There's money to be made. Him and Roman, there's money to be made. Playing on real life issues, you can make a lot of money." And they all cool. Like, it's no beef. And Punk was ready to squash it. And I was told by somebody backstage that the Bucks will never squash it with CM Punk. They will never squash it and never work with him. And he's like, he said, Kenny Omega feels like that match is beneath him.
Wow.
And when I was told that, I I was like, you mean to tell me the money match that's left in your company is beneath him? He said he open to it, but he's loyal to his friends. The Young Bucks, Colt Cabana, those are the people that caused the friction in AEW. That's where it started from. And the Bucks try to hide their hands like they didn't do it. They were being loyal to their friend, but your friend don't make no money for your business. So I get being loyal to your friends because I'm gonna be loyal to my brothers to the day I go. Loyal to my circle. I get it. But Colt Cabana? Really? That's the source? Because Punk did not want to work with Colt Cabana. People don't remember when AEW had the Dark Order on television all the time. Punk did commentary for a Dark Order match. He never acknowledged Colt Cabana. He has never wanted to acknowledge Colt Cabana. And I get why. They were in court. He got sued. They had a whole thing. He said, you know, he can do whatever he want. I just don't want to work with him. When he did the Hangman Page feud around the same time, that's where the issues really started. Because they looked at it like, why won't we play on this and actually have you two interact? Like, why won't we do? And he didn't want to do it. He was like, I just don't think it's a good idea. He's like, I just don't want to work with him. He's like, I'll work with everybody else in the Dark Order. I just don't want to work with him. And he didn't work with him. And people took offense to that. Like, if you go back and watch that whole Hangman Page and Punk feud, he interacts with John Silva, with Alex Reynolds, everybody else. He never interacts with Colt Cabana. He didn't want to. I feel like that's fair. If somebody sued me and we in the same company, it's like, yo, I don't have no issue with you, but I don't want to work with you. We can just, and so the Bucks took that as, you don't want to work with him, we're not going to work with you. And that is what really, it's just petty shit. It's real petty. And it's like, Colt Cabana don't wrestle, don't make no money. The Young Bucks, you can make money with that. You had FTR and CM Punk versus the Bucks and Omega. Everybody I know privately was telling these people in the company, yo, just make it happen. Bruh, you got 50, 60,000 people in Wembley. Make it happen. And they couldn't do it. And I think near the end, they became cordial. Like at All In, the first, I guess that All In Wembley, when Punk went against Samoa Joe, before the Jack Perry fight, I was told that they were communicating with each other. Like, what's up? What's going on? Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Like, it was like, I felt like maybe in a couple months they would have thought about it. But Punk wanted to go. He was like, I shouldn't have to walk on fucking eggshells just to have a 2-month program with guys who don't like me. He's like, this is stupid. Like, we could have been did this. Like, we're in front of 80,000 people. Well, not really 80,000, but close to 80,000. And I can't even get the big match that I'm trying to get. And so, as the Punk and Cody, and shout out to Jade Cargill as well, because
love me some Jade Cargill.
That boy, you ain't the only one. Jade is very smart, and she knew that her star power is capped in AEW. And she also really didn't like, I don't think people talk about this a lot, but she didn't like how the Punk thing played out because she left literally right after that.
Oh yeah, because her and Punk, they have a real.
Oh, they're super close. They're really close friends. Punk has been like a mentor to her. It's like how Bryan Danielson was a mentor to her. Mm-hmm. She loves Punk, and Punk loves her. And I think when she saw that and how that whole thing played, because she was there for all of it when it was playing out. Like, she was backstage for all of that stuff. And like, people don't think about like Ricky Starks backstage when that was happening. Ricky Starks was there when stuff happened too. And look what he had. Ricky Starks it speaks very highly of CM Punk. What happened to him? Darby Allin spoke highly of CM Punk, and he's just starting to get pushed again, right? Like now. So it's like, if you said anything positive about Punk, you got punished. Jay White was very close to Punk, and what happened to him until now? It's like you had like, I don't like that. I think there's a lot of talented wrestlers who deserve opportunities that weren't given opportunities because they had loyalty to CM Punk or they had like a friendship with CM Punk. FTR, I'm trying to find the right words to say about FTR. I don't fuck with them at all on a personal level. Cash really cool because we came up together.
Very sensitive.
I don't fuck that. Fuck that. He got me blocked. He got me blocked on like all platforms, right? But I know your secrets, Dax. I know the politicking he do. I know the shit he do. Yeah. He a punk, man. He a punk. He try to act like he's tough. He a punk, man. Like, I catch you in the street, boy, whip the skin off you. Like that's how I feel about that. Because I actually think you a bitch. I just think you a bitch. That's how I feel. Like how I feel. And I've said it before online. I said it after I got blocked. I said it because I was like, yo, I know what you be doing backstage and the politicking and bullshit you do. Like, bro, I know. I've seen screenshots of your text messages to people. Like, I've seen this. Like, I'll tell you about, like, I'm the nigga that nobody sees, but I see everything.
But you're around though.
Because people like, how do you know this? How you know that? I'm like, because I never reveal who my sources are. But just a lot of people end up doing that too. Like, oh, I got sources, and I know you don't have these sources. Like, brother, you ain't never worked in this business. Like, you've never worked. You got hired by a Fightful or somebody like that, and people started giving you information. Then I've known these people before they were even anybody. So there's always if I reach out to them, I can get a conversation if I want. And people don't get that. Like on my pod, like on our podcast, like I'll put out like scoops and stuff, but I don't like doing all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing that because it's like I'm not here to cover that. I'm here to cover what I'm watching. I'm not here to give you spoilers and stuff like that. Like I may drop one or two, but it's like people who tell me stuff, they confide in me for a reason. Like I'm never gonna put their secrets out. Like now that it's out there and people know a lot of stuff, like okay, fine. They'll be like, yeah, I don't care now because everything's out there. But there's stuff, like I said, there's stuff I can't talk about. Not because I have an NDA, because I just have respect for people that confide in me and talk to me. And I think that's something that's missing in wrestling. Having trust with people and people who trust you is very rare because nobody in wrestling is trustworthy like that. So it's like these dudes are not trustworthy. Like I've had conversations with people and I'm like, boy, I know you ain't. Like, I know you ain't right. Like the way y'all like, nah, bro, I'm cool. Like we ain't got to rap, we ain't got to talk at all. So but yeah, like I ain't want to come in here and like rant on AEW, but it felt good to get that off my chest because I ain't gonna lie, I've been holding a lot of that shit in for like the last year or two. Like I've been holding that in because it's like I didn't want to say it, but I'm like, hey man, look, I'm with fam, so I keep it a buck, and I think people need to know like they have great wrestlers, they don't have great people there running the show, and they had people I thought was real. But I don't feel like people who I thought was real is what they said they were. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's the game though. So
let me ask you this then. How much longer do you see AEW being around? And also do you feel like they did what they needed to do as to like push the WWE?
I see them being around for a couple, like honestly, the truthful answer is as long as Tony Khan has money, they will not go anywhere. That's it. This is his project, his pet project. You like, you know, like it's like the rich guy that is like doesn't want to accept failure. And even if you're failing or struggling, you won't accept it. Because if I could pull 20 million away from the Jaguars, I could put 50 million from the Jaguars into this. Like the video game was a flop. It didn't know it is terrible. Like I shouldn't say this because my music's on it, but the game sucks. like I got a free copy and I was like, I don't even want to play this shit. It's free. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I played it once with my daughter and let her hear my music on it. She was like, oh, that's so cool. And I was like, she's like, we should play it all the time. I'm like, girl, you can play it if you want. I ain't playing that. like you can play it. I ain't playing baby girl. Like, all right. And so it's just like some of the investments and some of the decisions they make. And there's just things going around like, oh, they got a Fox deal coming up. It's not Fox, it's FS1, and it's not, you know, it's not what people were like. I need people to like, you know, like their fan base is crazy, man. I don't know if y'all get to see how crazy some of their fan base is.
Yeah, we
know. We
know. Why they call sickos.
Yes.
Yeah.
$1 billion owner gave him that name, so he's no better than them.
And he stole that. he stole that name from somebody online. Somebody said it, and he stole it. Was like, yeah, I'm gonna call him that. I'm like, bro, stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, I told somebody, I said, man, Tony needs somebody like me to talk to him because what are y'all telling him? And people are like, man, you gotta be easy with Tony. I mean, nah, bro.
Tony looks fragile. He looks exactly how He looks exactly how he is on TV. He looks fragile. He shouldn't even be a boss at this
He
point.
avoids confrontation at all costs.
Yes.
Bro, when he said he feared for his life when Punk and Jack Perry had a fight, I call him, and the funny thing is, we were actually still on like decent terms at the time when it was happening. And that somebody asked me like, "What you think of that?" And I was like, "Boy, that is some bitch ass shit right there." And I got a call for that. They was like, "Man, you can't say that." I'm like, "Bruh, your man said he was scared for his life because niggas start fighting. Like, y'all ain't never seen a fight up close?" I'm like, CM Punk and Jack Perry fighting Major Scared. Come on, bruh. And then we saw the footage. They showed the footage. It makes you look worse. Because nothing happened. Like, you were scared for your life. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, I just, there is fragile spirit, very fragile spirit. And they give the wrong, they get the wrong motherfuckers money, man. Like, give me, they don't want me to have $50 billion. They don't, boy, it'd be some shit.
I book a better show for free every week sitting up here. True. You can ask them.
Like, so that's the thing, right? Like, there's so many fans. Like, I see people say this, like, people are armchair bookers, right? Like, people say that, like, armchair bookers. And I'm like, because we the fans. We know what we want to see, which means a lot of other people will also want to see it. So us having that knowledge of what we want to see and what other people want to see, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think people can come up with shows and matches and ideas. But the same way we complained about Vince, when there's one main voice that makes the final decisions, you're not getting anywhere. And that's why it is what it is. I mean, to me, products are down all across the board. Like, I love NBA. I love NBA like nothing. But yeah, I just feel like the NBA is just not moving me like it used to. And it's sad. It's sad, man, because we do a lot of coverage of the NBA. And we've been, me and Apollo have been in Wizards games and stuff covering them. And I'm just like, the Wizards.
Oh, that's the first mistake right there.
Hey man, we was local. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no basketball team in Cincinnati, and I'm not going to Cleveland. So that's like, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm like, it's bad enough I gotta be in Cincinnati. I'm not going to that dump of city in Cleveland.
You're not going to the land, man. They got one of the top teams right now.
I know they do. And I actually have respect for that team. I have respect for the Cavs. They play good team basketball. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I'm not a big Donovan Mitchell guy or Darius Garland guy, but I like seeing teams play like that. But I think the product in the NBA is just not what it was.
No, it's not.
I know for a fact people complain about people jacking up threes and stuff like that, which is true. I'm not a fan of that, but
I complain about that all the time.
But I think like everybody can't be Steph. You can't be Dame. You know what I'm saying? You can't be Steph. You can't be Dame. Can't be Clay. Everybody can't do that. Like Joel Embiid was taking like 8 threes, 9 threes at one point. I'm like, bro, you 7'1". First of all, you can't even stay on the floor. Anthony Davis. So I feel like that's the problem, is that the play style is everybody plays the same. Like Anthony Davis can be a dominant big man. You on the perimeter. You waiting 25 feet from the basket. Man, get your big ass up the man, back them down, and like do what you're supposed to do. And like I respect Giannis because I don't see Giannis take a whole bunch of threes. Giannis, I mean, like people talk about skill. The man leading the league in scoring right now. I mean, that's crazy to me. He was. I mean, look at 45 of it. Like, I don't know what his numbers looking like, but like Giannis going out there averaging 33. That to me says the game is not in a great place. Giannis is averaging 33. Like this nigga be traveling on most of his drives. So I'm like, all right, like you know what I'm saying? Like all y'all crab dribbling and shit doing this shit. Like, nah, bro. Like I need the game to be, there needs to be balance. You know what I'm saying? Like the mid-range lost art. Kawhi out, so we don't see the mid-range like we used to. Paul George used to be a mid-range, you know what I'm saying? Harden used to be a mid-range guy. And to see those guys kind of do some of the stuff that they do, but not execute in the right way. The game is just, I don't know, man. Like I'm not really excited about the NBA Cup final. I mean, I think it'll be a good game. You know what I'm saying? Bucks and Thunder, that's two good teams, but I just haven't had that excitement this year. You know what I'm saying? NFL a little different, but I'm not excited.
Man. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast for a while, saying that it's just the game is just different. You know, I don't know if people are blaming LeBron or whatever, but it's just the game is just not the same from what we remembered.
It's definitely not. No, it's definitely not. I wouldn't blame LeBron necessarily.
I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bron is,
James.
Like I love LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like I give LeBron flack because I'm not like the biggest fan, but I have an appreciation for his greatness after as many years he's been playing, and niggas he's like about to be 40. So I have respect for him. I don't think he's a part of the issue with the game. I don't think he's I think he definitely started a trend that the Boston Celtics and him started a trend that I don't necessarily like with a team hopping and building a super team. I never liked that part, but the Lakers ain't had a super team since he's been in the Lakers, so I can't really give him too much flack for that. But I think, like I said, I don't blame LeBron. I can't blame Steph because I think Steph plays how he play. That ain't for everybody. That's not for everybody to do that. Like everybody jacking 10 threes up a game, that's gotta stop. Like y'all can't shoot like that, bruh. Y'all can't shoot like that. Like, a lot of people can't shoot like that. You need to stop. If you cannot shoot 38 to 43% from three, do not take 10 threes a game. Like Harden actually has had many years where he's shot like 35%, but he was taking 15 threes, 14 threes a game. It's like, bro, you was a mid-range god at one point. Why you got a quick first step? Like I know he old now, and people say he fat, and he got fat and everything. And he's lazy. He be hanging out with little baby too much. That's very true, but it's like, bro, you got a lot of talent. Stop jacking up threes, and it's like it's lazy basketball. And
agree.
And I hate seeing lazy basketball because I think these are so much talent in the league this now, where it's like. Big men got handles. Big men can do this and do that. Like that's great. You 7 foot like Wemby sometimes. You 7'4", and you can shoot a daggone 30-footer. That's amazing. You 7'4", bruh. Get your big ass in the post. Who's blocking you? Nobody's gonna block you. So I think that's what made me look at a lot of the players like, bro, y'all are crazy, man. Like y'all are crazy, like absolutely insane. Because and then with Chris Paul, it confused me too. Like when you got Chris Paul, just get lobs all day. That's Lob City all day. Like it's like I just don't understand it. And obviously the injuries too. Like everybody's out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, to my brothers in sports bet. I feel for y'all, because. I know them parlays get messed up.
Yeah.
I know. And the thing is, like, I shouldn't say shout out to them, bro, because I be engaging in it sometimes. They say I'm cheap. So I might toss a 5 or 10 or something, say or something here and there. But nah, bro. Some of the stuff I done seen in these parlays, like, I ain't want to be like, yo, it's rigged, it's fixed. But it be some times where I'm like, hey, man, how did man get 2 technicals in 30 seconds? Like, and I needed him to get 20. He was at 17 and he got 2 technicals and he get ejected. Man, I don't think that makes sense. But like, that's the game now. I think also with sports betting becoming legal so much, it also affects the game because instead of enjoying it and watching the game, you like, hey man, hey yo, Ja, I need 15 and 6 tonight. I need, such a Steph, I need 4 threes tonight. And so it makes it like with football is different because you're like you could need a touchdown from Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, but it's like you also might need yards, or you might need whatever. Like, and you watch it and you invest a little differently. You know what I'm saying? You invest a little differently in the game. But I just feel like basketball is because of the style they play. Like I would have never guessed you could bet on somebody to hit a 3. I would have never guessed that was something you could bet on. You open up DraftKings and FanDuel and you can bet on people to hit threes. I'm like, where are we as a society to where you can bet on Steph Curry to hit 9 threes in a game, which is very possible. It's possible. Yeah. But I'm like, that's a plus 400. Like, hey, yo. So it's like, once you start like finding like how sports is like, it's the dynamics change so much, and there's so much money for the league. Even when the ratings are down, it's so much money. And I'm like, the product is not great, but they somehow keep getting more money.
People watching they bets.
Yeah, like people, like that's crazy. Like people, and I think you also underestimate how many people are streaming versus watching on television too. So if you say, oh well, this ESPN game only did 1.7 million, it's like, brother, a good 1.5 million probably watch it on streaming, and the people who can't afford to buy every daggone streaming service to watch sports, because you got to spend $100 just to watch all the games you need to watch, if not more, a month. Who's buying all that? I'm not a pirate. I don't consider myself a pirate in terms of stealing media, because I work in media, so that would be irresponsible of me as a media person to illegally stream anything. But I every time when I got League Pass for free, FanDuel was like $5 and you can get 3 months of League Pass for free. So I was like, hey, we can work that out. Hey, I'm gonna cancel it right before them 3 months in. But you know what I'm saying? I waited until it was like early December to do that, because I know March is when it'll end. Ain't nobody watching games in March like that. Wait, the playoffs on television, I could find it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could figure that out. So I just think so much in the NBA and so much in sports in general. There's so much money being put out. But it's like less of an emphasis on the things that matter. Like much less of an emphasis on things that matter in the game. And the fundamentals is all messed up. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough Kevin Garnett no more. We ain't got enough Kevin Garnett's on the floor no more. You know what I'm saying?
No
we don't
Tim
have
Duncans
enough.
no more.
Yeah, like where the post killers at? I'm saying, where the killers in the post? Who got post game anymore? Where the Hakeem Olajuwon footwork from the bigs? Like, where is it? Where the dream shakes? Like nobody. It's just no bigs are shooting mid ranges like that. Y'all shooting threes. If you can shoot a three, you can shoot a mid range. I mean, what are we doing here? But that's the league, bro. That's the league. That's the game.
So what you working on? What you working on next, man? Before we get out of here, any projects, anything people can listen to? How can they keep up with you?
I got an album out, Soul Revival 6. That came out in November. Me and my brother Apollo got an album called Time Is of the Essence that came out in October. As far as music, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the rest of my peoples, and shout out to my guy Reese, who he's the real True Sounds of all this. That's my guy. He's the real True Sounds, but he's the real, like, the brains behind it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my guy Reese. And yeah, musically right now, kind of taking a break from a lot of stuff right now. Personally, myself, because we got so much going on with the sports media, and I just got my first credential to go, see a preview of a film, coming up. Mm-hmm. So it's just like we're starting to get into different spaces right now, and things are looking up. Like I've had an amazing last 7 days right now, and I'm feeling good, which is why I can come on here and and tell my truth about AEW and stuff like that, because what I'm saying, I don't have no fear of nobody. You know what I'm saying? I have no fear of nothing. So now I appreciate y'all, but yeah. Music right now, I'm on a slight hiatus. We'll see. Summer 2025, I'll pick it back up. But it's sports season. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be at these games. I'm gonna be, these college games. I'm gonna be, try to, if I can get to a couple NBA games. Indiana is not that far from Cincinnati, so might do a Pacers game. You know what I mean? Once the Fever come back and Caitlin Clark and all that, and Chicago's not that far. So Angel Reese definitely gonna support. That. So I'm just trying to be wherever it's a place for me to be to support sports and be out here. That's where I'm gonna be at.
We appreciate you, True. How can the people follow you one more time? Any social media, anything you want to plug, your site where they can listen to your podcast, anything like that?
I don't want nobody to follow me, my personal account, because I be saying crazy shit. I don't want nobody to follow me on that. But y'all can follow at DAR Sports Media on they call it X. I'm gonna still call it Twitter. Follow us, DAR Sports Media on Instagram. We got a TikTok, but I'm too old for that. I don't even know how to use no damn TikTok. So I won't be using TikTok. Check out the Medium site. We got medium.com. It's DAR Sports and Media. Doing numbers. We got a lot of talented writers. Shout out to my guy, Poetic Scotland, who is the head of the Black Guy Wrestling podcast that is also pretty prominent out there. Those are my guys. He's a part of my, the DAR Sports and Media team. He's a writer. We got a guy from Cleveland, Tev. My guy Tevin. He works actually
I probably shouldn't say it, but he works close with the Cavs in some way, shape, or form. So shout out to my guy. He writes and covers basketball for us. The Medium site is where everything is buzzing right now, or on YouTube, DAR Sports Media. That's where we do the podcast. We're trying to get that kind of off the ground. We kind of took it to YouTube after a while ago. So we was on Spotify for like a year, and then we took it to YouTube. So we're trying to transition. But yeah, that's really it, man. DAR Sports Media, that's the brand, that's the movement, that's what we on now. For 2025, that's where we at with it.
Give it up one more time, everybody, for True. Man. True, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. For real.
Appreciate you, man.
We're gonna clip this interview and send it over to you tomorrow, so good brother, so you can have it for your site and you can put it up on all your platforms, my guy.
Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate that, dog.
Yeah, we gotta come back and do this again and see how AEW is in a couple months. I hope get you back from Mania.
I hope it's better. I don't think it will be, but I hope it's better.
I appreciate it,
man. Yeah, we'll see.
Yes, sir. We'll have you back for Mania season, man. Give you an update and tell you how that's
going.
Any of y'all going to Mania or planning on it? Think about it,
man. I look, dog. I'm mad that I didn't even think to hit you for Philly because I was there. Right?
Everybody I know was in Philly. Like it was like a family reunion. People was outside. I'm like, it's cold as shit. Like everybody outside, like, yo. I'm like, man, I'm getting in this Uber and going back to the hotel, dog.
So you didn't even bother to go to the after party joint at Live?
I was supposed to go to a party over there at Live, and I was with my man's, and he was like, man, what you want to do? I'm like, bro, let's go get something to eat and go get some drinks and call it a day.
Man,
and we ended up going to we went to
food and drinks there.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I was tired, bro. We because we drove up that day because I worked Wale Mania and then I left and came back to Baltimore and then we went back up and I was tired and we were supposed to go. We went to the WWE World or whatever it is, whatever that thing they had. So we got a lot of hospitality from WWE that weekend. They gave me like tickets to WrestleMania. They gave tickets to go to Come to World and shout out. And so yeah, I mean, I think we got better relationship with people in WWE now than we did a year ago, so I feel like I have to be in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a must. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be back at Wale Mania. Did you go to Wale Mania?
No, I didn't go to Wale Mania, but Vegas. I think I'm gonna have to make that move, man.
Yeah, because I was on the stage, but I was like in the side of the stage at Wale Mania, and I was like, I can't. Yeah, I was there, so I was like, I can't pop out on stage and say nothing because I was going through the AEW stuff at the time. So I was like, I don't think people know I'm supposed to be here. But I was like I said, everything was cool backstage. That's all I understand wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's cool backstage. Everybody cool. Everybody peaceful. Then they get, people get on Twitter, start talking crazy, and they don't have no energy like that. But I'm definitely, if you're in Vegas, I'm bringing the whole squad. We should all be there in Vegas, so we definitely gonna, get a drink, you know what I'm saying? Pop a bottle or something at one of them parties, man, and watch some wrestling.
Like old times, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give it up, everybody, for True one more time. Thank you, True. Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate y'all, brothers, man.
Yes,
appreciate you, man.
Peace out, bro.
Peace out to True. And wonderful insight, wonderful information. Didn't know we were getting all that when he came on the show tonight. But Drizzy Dre, that's pretty much all we got. Episode 470 in the books.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't hear the last part. What you said.
Next week. What can they expect next week?
I mean, more college. It's a lot happening right now. College football, got college basketball, the men and the women. The NFL's starting to wind down, and you just never know what's happening as far as the WWE as they transition going to Netflix. So it's still a lot happening in the world of sports, and even baseball. We just seen that the Orioles just signed a new pitcher, so we still got deals happening throughout the offseason as well.
Yes, sir. Busy week ahead. Cravante Commander's content, we're going to keep that coming this week also.
Yes. We only got a couple weeks left in the regular season. So, that content will definitely be on the move. Big matchup this weekend for both our teams. Rivals, so it should be something this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Ain't that something?
Yep, no